It was, there were moments there where it was just whipping, and there's no way you could complete a ball. I mean, there were times in warmups that you couldn't throw it 10 yards. It was getting knocked down. So I think it was a constant communication with myself and the offensive staff, kind of, all right, where are we? Has it died down enough to call this play? And then a couple of times we just tried to get Baker on the perimeter and maybe get him an easy completion or run it with him out there on the perimeter. So that was what the game called for. We didn't know that on Monday and Tuesday when you put a game plan together. But when you see the weather report, when you get there to that stadium, you kind of have to take all that into account and understand what is it going to take to go win that game.
Does that make it harder then to evaluate Baker, or what do you take away from his game yesterday given those conditions?
No, I think you evaluate the quarterback on every play, getting in and out of the right plays. Obviously, as you're handing off, you're grading him, but of course there were less opportunities to throw it. But in those opportunities, you definitely grade him just the same.
All right, that's Kevin Stefanski. Bud, what are you in his evaluation of Baker Mayfield yesterday? What's your evaluation? Did he do anything to change your mind one way or the other?
No, I just think it was a really tough day to evaluate. I know they have to evaluate a quarterback every play, especially one who they have to make a decision on about picking up an option and everything. But as far as the actual throwing of the football, I think it's a little unfair to judge a quarterback on a day like yesterday. I would say the same thing about Deshaun Watson, too. So.
Yeah, he was 12 for 20 throwing the football yesterday. Let's see if we can run down those stats and see if anything else comes into play here. This is the running game with and without Nick Chubb. And here's Baker Mayfield now, 12 of 20, 132 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. That's why sometimes stats are misleading, because it didn't matter what his stats were in a game like yesterday. You just got to keep the ball moving. He did in that last drive that took him down to Chubb's run or play that everybody's talking about. But you got to make the plays when you can make them, and in a game like that, I think no interceptions is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, the thing that jumped out at me, Les, is that the Texans, I think, were either last or among the worst teams in the league in run defense coming in. In a way, the weather might have helped focus the Browns on what they needed to do to win this game. And we've seen in past head coaches, I won't say it's all Freddie, but we've seen, them have a decided advantage, at least statistically, against the defense coming into a game. And, other coaches have wanted to show how smart they are or how cute they can get. And I think Stefanski, in the end, maybe he was forced into it by the weather, but I think he's made some pretty smart decisions on, how to run an offense, how to call games. And this team, we know, has an identity. It had an identity even before Odell Beckham was injured. And that identity is Nick Chubb and, to a lesser extent, Kareem Hunt, and an offensive line that can run block. And I suspect we'll see more of that this week.
2-1